What's up, guys? How are y'all doing tonight? I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope everything is going well for you. Trying to stay out of the heat as much as possible. It seems like I've actually been in the heat more than normal, working on some stuff. But just wanted to let you guys know that we're missing you guys. We do have some really, 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 really big news coming up. I've got a meeting with the leadership team next week, and during that meeting, we're going to be discussing a lot of very cool things. And so I do encourage you a week from today, okay, a week from today, join us on live stream. You will not want to miss it, okay? If you're watching this and maybe you know somebody that hasn't been watching for a while, tell them next Wednesday they have to be on. We've got some big news coming, some big things coming, and so I want everybody to be a part of that and hear that firsthand. Just a lot of big stuff happening at Elevate. We do have a lot of new apparel again coming out. If you saw the hats, I got the hats done. There's some snapbacks if you want one. You can holler at me. I'll get you one. I've also got some T-shirts coming out with just the V logo, with some other cool designs and stuff. We're gonna kind of expand our Elevate apparel, and really try and get that brand out there. I always tell people this. If you're wearing an Elevate shirt, even if you're wearing a Panama City Beach shirt, even though we didn't go on the mission trip, sometimes just the design or the name or something about the shirt can spark a conversation, especially when they see a lot of you guys wearing it. Like in the wintertime, man, y'all were sporting those hoodies like crazy. And so when 4, 5, 6, 7 people are wearing the same thing, it's going to spark people and make them wonder, what is Elevate and why are all these people wearing Elevate shirts or hoodies or hats or whatever. And so it's a good opportunity for you to be able to tell people about Elevate and spread that word about youth and everything we're doing. Well, let me say this: everything we're gonna be doing. But anyhow, hope you guys are enjoying your summer. I think we're about halfway through. I don't want to, start bursting people's bubbles yet. Welcome to July, but you do have July and about halfway through August to enjoy some more. But hope you guys are just having a good time. We want to jump into it tonight. We're continuing our pursuit of love, is what we're talking about. Pursuing Christ and everything that He was. The first topic we've been talking about is love, and the first day we talked about that unashamed love with Joseph and Mary. Last week, if you joined us, we talked about the brave love as we looked at Esther and everything that took place with Haman and Esther and her role there in the palace and everything that was going on there. Today, we're going to be looking at a secured love, And today we're going to actually be in Ruth. Okay, I know I'm throwing all these Old Testament Bible books at you, and you're probably wondering, where in the world, how can I even find these things? Esther was, to me, probably a little harder to find than Ruth. Most of you guys can probably find Ruth if you know your Old Testament, fairly well. You've probably done that, repetition, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth. All right, Ruth. It's right there at the very beginning of the Old Testament. So go to Ruth. We're going to be in Ruth today, Ruth chapter 4. And I would love to read the whole chapter, but I don't want to make this a really long thing. And so I'm going to kind of summarize the chapter and everything about it. It opens up with, we get introduced to a guy by the name of Boaz. And so we get introduced to Boaz. Boaz is talking to some people, and he's talking to a person who is essentially looking at maybe buying some land. Anyhow, long story short, he's met this girl, and he really likes her. She's been working in his field, kind of. What's the best way to put it? Ruth has lost everything. Okay, if you go back and you look at Ruth chapters 1 through 3, you learn that Ruth not only loses her father-in-law, she loses her brother-in-law, she loses her husband. I mean, she absolutely loses every male figure in her life. And back then, that was a rough thing because there was a name involved, right? I mean, there was a family involved and things to. It's kind of hard to explain, but things to do. And men kind of carried that back then. And so we see that after losing her father-in-law and brother-in-law and her husband, after she ended up leaving her biological family, Ruth had lost everything and had left everything behind, and she essentially had become a beggar who had started picking up scraps that were left behind the workers in this field where Boaz was. And but she caught the eye of this guy named Boaz, and he was the owner of the field that she was, coming behind, picking up the scraps and the grains in, and she had nothing to offer him. I mean, absolutely nothing. She didn't have land. She let me backtrack. She really didn't have a whole lot. She had some things, but not a whole lot to offer him. And so she catches his eye. Boaz, he's got everything to lose, but he wants to, he chooses her. And so he takes a liking to her. And so what happens here is he redeems her. And you'll see the word redeemed a lot in the Redeemer in chapter 4. But what he essentially does is he brings her and her mother-in-law back into prominence and provides a safe and loving environment for them to flourish in. We see in Ruth chapter 4 that there's property involved here, in that Boaz takes Ruth and kind of just takes her under his wing. And there's this weird, crazy tradition that kind of takes place with their sandals being taken off. And I'm not going to go through all that stuff, but long story short, he ends up marrying Ruth, and they get married. And so he becomes that comfort for her. Remember that men are that comfort back then. And so Ruth needed that. And so he begins to be that comfort for her. And there's something about his security and her finding security in him, Ruth finding security in Boaz, that makes us kind of all question that there's something about security that just allows us to really just let our guard down, right? Some of you guys began dating relationships, and in the very beginning of the dating relationship, man, you're like walking on eggshells, making sure that you are doing everything right. You're putting makeup on, you're fixing your hair, you're making sure your clothes are perfect, right? You're saying the right things, you're texting the right things, you're taking the perfect Instagram photo, Snapchat photo, whatever. And then as the relationship goes on, you get comfortable, right? And so you let your guard down. Maybe today you don't want to wear makeup, or maybe today you don't want to put cologne on or deodorant on, or you're just going to come straight from football practice and go straight over and see your girl, right? As opposed to taking a shower. Something about that security makes us feel comfortable and gives us that comfort. We can let our guards down. When we're not safe, we can't relax. It's why sleeping on planes is hard for people. If you're afraid of flying, you're probably not going to be able to sleep on a plane. Jesus tells us, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and he's going to give you rest. He will give you that rest. Have you ever gotten home from a vacation and just felt like you needed to take a vacation? Right? You ever done that? I know a lot of people are on dead week right now, so you're either on vacation or you're coming back from vacation. And sometimes we feel like, man, I just need to come home so I can rest. Right? That was hard. It's because you find comfort in your home. Your home has become a place of peace, a place where you want to be. Others of you, home may not be peace for you. It may not be peaceful. And so maybe Elevate is your place of comfort, or school is your place of comfort. And so when you get to go to those places, you can relax, right? You can just wind down, right? And you can feel relaxed. Well, all of this today, and we're looking at our pursuit of Christ, and we see Boaz provides that security for Ruth, and he marries her. Jesus Christ offers us the same type of security that can allow you to just take a deep breath in and just chill and relax. When we sit at the feet of Jesus and allow his peace to fill our lives, only then can we find that secured love and be able to just rest our weary minds and everything that's going on in this world and everything that goes on in your lives. And some of you deal with anxiety or depression, or maybe there's issues at home, or maybe there's issues in your relationships, or whatever it is. Maybe you're struggling at practice, or struggling trying to get that spot on the team you really want to get. Whatever it is, you can find that security and that peace at the foot of Jesus Christ and at his feet, and he provides that for us. And so today, that's what I wanted to talk about, is that secured love. As we're pursuing Christ and we are talking about him and how to draw closer to Him, I want you to ask yourself the question: in what ways does Jesus provide security to you? I mean, have you ever thought about that? What ways has He provided security to you? What are a couple obstacles that you're facing and some things that are keeping you from fully receiving the security that's offered to you by Christ and through Him? What are some things that are keeping you from essentially being the person that God needs you to be? It is through Jesus Christ that we have that security. And so I wanted to leave you with that today as we're talking about, pursuing Christ and looking at all these different aspects of love. As we look at the secured love today, there is a secured love that can provide you with a peace that passes all understanding. And no matter what you're going through today, no matter what anxieties or obstacles or whatever are keeping you from living that life where you can just take that deep breath and just chill, no matter what it is, you can find peace at the foot of Jesus Christ. And so I want to encourage you with that today. Again, guys, there's some big stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. A huge, huge, huge announcement coming next week. And so I'm praying that you guys will join us next week. If you know somebody that's not been watching, get them on. Like, tell them you have to be on and get on and get them watching. I hope you guys are, again, enjoying your summers. You guys take it easy. Try and stay out of that heat. I know some of you guys want to float and do the buffalo, all that fun stuff. That's cool. Just make sure you take a dip from time to time. All right, but just know that we love you. If there's anything we can ever do for you guys, we'll do it. Just text us, let us know. And guys, just take it easy. Hang in there with us, and big stuff coming soon. So we love you, and we'll see you.